Hello, my marketing friends. It is Dr. Grayson. I hope you're doing good today. Hey, today what we're going to do is talk about another element of our branding strategy, which is imagery and visual content. So I'm looking forward to sharing with you some of the exciting statistics that we have in understanding human behavior and the magic of being able to resonate imagery with our target audience. So here's the three things that I want us to focus on today. First of all, what are the key elements of imagery in content marketing and brand strategy? Secondly, we are going to, based on your brand evaluation assignment, you're going to take a look at different types of imagery based on a brand personality for your client. And then I want you to finally develop a recommendation for imagery for your client's brand. So as you know, we have a branding assignment, which is evaluating a company's brand, hopefully the company that you are working on throughout the semester. And we are going to conduct an evaluation on each of the brand elements. And then also for extra credit, you can create a brand identity toolkit if you would like. And then finally, you are going to wrap all this up in an executive summary, a recommendation on everything that you have seen and evaluated for your client. So what I want you to focus on for this particular video is pull out that workbook and focus on imagery. So here you will see there's three boxes, one for photography, illustration, and iconography. So what I want you to do is to evaluate the existing photography, illustration, if the brand has any, and iconography, and then make a recommendation based on the brand personality that you have developed or that your client has for their brand. And I want you to evaluate all of these three things. And then again, you are going to discuss this in the executive summary as part of that overall brand evaluation assignment you're working on. So hopefully that makes sense. And if you need more information, please feel free to review the video that I have on that particular assignment. All right, I want to start out a little bit about telling you why imagery is so important. So visual content is anything beyond text that you are going to use in any of your digital marketing or in your print marketing or anything else for that matter. But the reason why it's so important is because as human beings, we our brain engages more and better with visuals than words. So it's quicker for us to pick up a concept, easier for us to digest and understand. And there was a study done that you can find on tsciences.com that the human brain actually processes images 60,000 times faster than text. And 90% of that information is then transmitted to the brain is visual. So that will go into your short-term memory. So visuals, also one of the reasons what I love about visual content is that it allows you to vary imagery based on target audiences. And if you recall, segmentation, targeting, and positioning, the very most important part of marketing, will help you identify those particular segments and target audiences and personas and really help resonate better with that audience you're trying to reach. There's a couple of fun facts I have here, one from Bazoo, which is Facebook posts and images see 2.3 times more engagement than those without images. So in the days of stories and social marketing, imagery is so very important, particularly if you can align it to that target audience. And the web content with visuals, meaning images or videos, can receive up to 94% more views than those that don't. So these are just a couple of nuggets for you to think about. And the reason all of this is true goes back to the theory that we study in and consumer behavior, how we process information to get that into the short and long term memory. And as you know, this is an important part of our brand strategy for people to not only like us, love us, but become advocates. So, visual content does increase engagement, memory, and conversion. So I'm going to talk through some types of visual content that you can choose to do based on your brand personality. So remember the personality, those 5 adjectives, the tone you want to use, the imagery you want to use, all aligns to the personality of that brand. So I have chosen an illustration is a design that is not lifestyle photography or not real human beings. It's drawn. So I've got a couple of examples here. This one popped up, this yoga challenge for weight loss. I really like this. This pops up on my Facebook and it gives you a little 30-day challenge of some really simple yoga poses that you can do. And it's done with some illustrations. So again, this isn't photography or real people. They have chosen that as part of their brand. They probably can, I'm guessing one of the reasons is you as an individual can resonate with an illustration versus a human being or a picture of somebody for that. Again, all right, so then we have DoorDash here. Now, DoorDash is, they do a really good job with the illustration and their iconography on their mobile app. And so now you can see here that this design from Walgreens is done in an illustrative style. So they're choosing this. This has a little bit more shelf life than, say, for example, you put Oreos on there and, let's say Revlon, nail polish. Now you are going to have to get permission and have to pay probably these brands for that. If you do an illustrative style, you can represent that image without having to use a specific brand. Now I have a couple others here. So a lot of this is done, through Instagram posts and other types of social marketing. But there are some brands who have chosen, such as Casper, to really use illustration beyond just advertising, but part of their particular brand. So they're not using real people or stock photography. They have illustrators. Somebody has drawn, and that is part of their brand. It's a little bit lighter and a little bit more fun, as you can see here. And here's another one, Meditation Made Simple, which is a great idea of illustration. So I will tell you a couple of things from my experience. Illustration is expensive because you have to have people actually draw or create these images, in a digital format. So it's probably more time consuming than taking photography or using some stock images or things like that. But it can be really, really impactful if it is done well. So that's the first type of visual content I wanted to share with you is illustration. The second type is lifestyle. So you will hear a lot about in photography. There's product photography, there's lifestyle photography. Now, lifestyle means that the imagery is someone within the context of their life. So you can see here we've got here for REI, which is obviously a camping and hiking store. They use pictures of people in their products in their natural lives. So it helps you as a consumer put yourself in the shoes of that person. So lifestyle photography is a very well used type of imagery or content marketing that you can do. So here we've got lifestyle. Now this popped up on my Instagram feed, and there is a coffee shop here where I live called Dutch Brothers. So in lieu of just showing you the coffee beans or what the drink may look like, they're showing you an image of somebody, somebody likely very much younger than me, probably a student since I do live in a college town, and they're showing this student student drinking the coffee instead of using an image of that product itself. Now, this is actually one that is from my workplace a while ago when I was in the corporate world a few years ago. Now, we used a lot, this was at Honeywell, we used a lot of lifestyle photography because we had a lot of consumer electronics, and I worked in the smart home business. So we had security cameras, thermostats, doorbells, things like that. So we try to always put into context a person using the product in their own life, because our research showed that people resonated at the awareness stage of seeing people how they use the product as opposed to the product itself. Not saying that product advertising isn't important, it very much is. Sometimes lifestyle photography works when people are at the beginning of their decision making phase or in the awareness phase. But when you get down to actually selling the product itself, it is so important to have really good quality, high image product photography, because this is where people are getting down to making a decision on whether they buy from you or not. So it is so much more worth the investment to do some professional photography for your e-commerce sites. Like here we have Warby Parker, and they actually have where a WYSIWYG, where you can see what you see is what you get. You can upload your own photo and put each of these glasses styles on. So this is a great way to not only observe each of these. This is also WYSIWYG. Which color do you like? It'll allow you to try on the merchandise with very high quality products. Here's an Instagram post. So this is this is Target. Target does a lot of lifestyle photography. They also do a lot of product shots. So in lieu of showing you, like Warby does here, when you're down to selecting the actual design you want, they're showing you the products on the shelf. So it's almost like a lifestyle shot, but it's more of lifestyle if you're shopping within the walls of Target. So again, they're showing you the product as opposed to somebody using a product in their home. Now, a lifestyle shot for Warby Parker would be a picture of somebody maybe teaching class like me with their glasses on, or in my real world. But this product photography is very much about making a decision on that. And here I have a beautiful photo of a local company here, an ice cream store called Handel's Ice Cream, and yes, it is wonderfully delicious. So they have taken their ice cream pops here, and they have cut open so that you can see the actual ice cream with what is underneath the shell there. So again, product photography is generally best when you are ready to make a purchase decision and people are looking at the features, the benefits, the quality, how it will fit in my specific world. Whereas lifestyle, again, is looking at people using the product within the context of some lifestyle opportunity. Now let's talk a little bit about video. Video is so very important. Video has a higher conversion rate oftentimes than photography. Video can tell a story. I love this, even though Ring.com was one of my competitors when I worked when I worked at Honeywell. What I love about this video is they're showing the value of the product in the context of a story. So they're showing this man actually coming up, ripping off a box, taking it away, a burglar. So they're telling you, are you kidding me? What went wrong? So they actually have a picture of the burglar stealing the box, and hopefully they were able to catch that criminal. Here is another beautiful example of Calm does a really wonderful job with getting people to calm, relax, talking about what their service does in the context of video. So if you've ever seen the rain showers or the babbling brook or the thunderstorm, Calm does a really good job with video showing what their product offers. So as I've mentioned before, video is here to stay. It is very you can professionally take videos. You can do videos on your own. You're just going to test and learn what works best for your client and your products. So the next one I wanted to talk about in terms of visual content or imagery is iconography. Now, iconography are those little icons that you use, and mostly I would say iconography is best for navigation. So you want to watch my heuristics video that I've done on the importance of the best practices of using icons, particularly in a header and footer of a website, or your actions that you take on your mobile device, on your ordering platforms. Icons should be clear and easy to read. I would say use them sparingly. So we as human beings, as I mentioned in my heuristics video, we're used to patterns. We're used to taking mental shortcuts. And an icon is used to make a mental shortcut. So I know where the card is. I know if I click on the logo at the top left hand of the navigation bar, I'm going to get back home. If I want to see, men's versus women's, I'm going to click on that top navigation bar. If I want to know something about where I need to find service, I'm going to go down to that bottom navigation and maybe unsubscribe, or maybe I'm going to reach out to somebody. But the use of iconography, you should use them sparingly, in my opinion, and, for navigation. Be consistent with your icons. Some websites will have a shopping bag as opposed to a cart. I worked in e-commerce a long time. I'm a fan of the cart and not the shopping bag. But again, that's just because as a consumer, that's what I had grown up with, and that's what I'm used to. So make sure that if you do use icons, that you use them, the consistent icons that you're going to find in your operating system, such as iOS or Android. Make sure that they are consistent with what your users are used to using. And be sure that your use of icons, if you use them from a design element, maybe some illustrative things to prove a point, whether it's an emoji or a symbol or some sort of specific design you have on your website, make sure that they match your brand personality. So you don't want something crazy funky if you have a professional brand, or if maybe you have more of a techie brand, you're not going to have more of a cutesy emoji. So that said, iconography is great to use for navigation. Again, my personal opinion is you should use them sparingly and to help somebody go through the process of making a decision. All right, so I wanted to give you a few tips on professional versus stock photographs. So as you know, visual content will process in your brain 90% faster than other pieces of information. So you want to take a good look at how you are going to obtain this content. I'm going to give you some information on some free stock photography sites that are free or minimum cost. The one that I'm going to give you 4 or 5 of them. They will all be free. You can download them. But the thing about stock photography is you need to be careful with royalties. If you're using a large stock photography, like an image that is not from one of these donation sites, you have to be careful with royalties, because you could download something one time for $30 and not realizing that you are legally responsible for paying for that every time that particular piece of information is looked at or clicked on. So be careful with the fine print on that. Stock photography it's useful, but remember, it's not unique. You may find that image on your competitor's site or some other site. So my recommendation, if you are doing something of value in terms of conversion, not maybe, it's like a blog post or something like that, use professional quality photography, particularly on your mobile devices and your websites. Invest in professional photography. It can be costly, but as you know, the cameras are so great now that if you take a few classes, you could probably start learning how to do this well and save some money. If not, go to a freelancer or find somebody who does great photography, and make sure that your T's and C's are crossed, that you own that piece of content. without royalty when you're paying a professional. So I also love it because you can tailor it to your own brand. You can take pictures based on your targeted audiences. It could give you the personality that you love. But overall, good imagery will increase conversion. So try not to skimp on this. I know that, it can be costly. If you're doing product photography, invest in good product photography, particularly if it's food or if you're demonstrating a complicated product. So think about that. Don't skimp on it because we know that this is a really important element in consumer behavior. Okay, just so a couple nerdy things from Oberlo. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. I know that TikTok is, the emerging social marketing channel, and I know this particular lecture isn't about social marketing channels, but I did want to say that I found these statistics, and I think it's really interesting that the average time spent on TikTok daily for users is 52 minutes. So something to think about when you're selecting your visual content. TikTok users are also young, between the ages of 10 and 29. I know this is of no news to any of you out there, but if 62%, there is a great target audience if you want to reach that young viewer. So just a couple of just a few things on videos. Here's some fun facts. When people hear information, they're likely to remember only 10% of that information 3 days later. However, if your relevant image is paired with that information, people retain it 65% 3 days later. So the importance of mixing the very succinct copy along with the relevant image will be great. 40% of marketers predict that between 51% and 80% of businesses will rely heavily on visual content. And there's just a couple more that you can look through. 85% of adults consume content on multiple devices at the same time. So not only are we using our laptop, we're also using our cell phone at the same time. So remember, that just kind of gives you an idea of the importance of visual content. So let's see. So I wanted to spend a couple minutes talking about mood. So mood is something that you can create in any of your marketing channels. But I think that it's important to think about mood when you are talking about visual content as well, because a mood can really affect evaluation and recall. And when they're shopping, setting a mood within a store can change somebody's attitude as well. So let's take a look at here. So if you recall from consumer behavior, marketplace emotions are really anger, fear, humor, warmth, flow, and desire. So you can see from each one of these images, there's a very distinct emotion that each one of these evokes, whether it's desire or, sweet baby and puppies, they sell everything. Anger, maybe a little bit of humor, or fear. Remember that in your imagery to always match not only your imagery to your brand personality, but what emotion you're trying to evoke. And just a reminder that music and mood go well together. So if you are doing some sort of video, keep the music in mind as a marketing tool as well. Now, this doesn't resonate with your digital marketing, but scent along with your imagery or your mood can really draw people to certain areas of a store. Just think about the holiday area of a store or a Halloween. Those the stores have scents that they pump into their store. So just remember that as another, the more senses that you put together, the more likely somebody will remember your message. So here's something I wanted to share with you. I will go over this again when we go through brand identity. If you're wanting to do that for extra credit. So oftentimes what designers will do or brand managers will do is they will put all of your identity assets together on a one pager to express a mood. So So perhaps maybe you have an ad campaign and you want a particular mood. Um, it's worthwhile to put some example imagery here so that the person doing the design will understand the mood you're trying to evoke. All right, so I mentioned before, here's your free tools, and I want you to play with these. You're going to be using these if you're going to be doing a brand identity for extra credit. I also want you to take a look at these for the stories you're creating in another section of the course. But these are free imagery, pexels.com, pixabay.com, unsplash.com. These are all free that you can download. There's a lot of redundancy on these sites, but the photography is pretty good. I will say though that, I use this imagery. There's one here that I can't remember which site I downloaded from, but they're great for presentations. I probably would not use that on my own website because I can guarantee there probably be 100 others out there using the same image in my category. Another tool I want you to become familiar with if you are not already is canva.com. You can create for free any of your social media posts. You can design a color palette. You can choose imagery, a lot of various things on Canva. So this is a tool that I'm hoping you will be able to play with while you're in class here. All right, so that is visual content, imagery, and as it relates to your brand strategy. So I want you to think about, what made sense, what may not have made a lot of sense. Go into Canvas and read the content, play with the tools I have in there. I promise you it will be worth your while. Definitely if you are working with a client, if you're working on social media or you're working on some brand personality or identity, those free tools are really going to be important for you. And I want you to understand the importance of consumer behavior related to imagery and visual content. And by spending some time and effort and resources into this, you are going to increase your conversion. So as always, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me via email, Dr. Kristy Grayson in Canvas, or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel at any time and listen to this or other videos related to any of the courses I teach, or in particular brand strategy. So I hope you've enjoyed learning today. I certainly have enjoyed sharing some of my knowledge with you, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.